blustery day. Sun shining. Manly from right to left. Parramatta guarding the northern end. It's underway. The Eels versus the Eagles. As Morris gets it off for Careless to take the first tackle. Watmo lined him up with Kennedy. Parramatta captain to his feet quickly. Morrison again met there by Kennedy. King getting a piece of that tackle. Careless taking the second hit up of the first three. Now Riddell, gets a smack over the face for his measure, but he takes the play well down the ground. He's 5 metres into Manly's territory as it goes away to Smith and goes on to Stringer. And Paul Stringer struggles down towards the 30-metre line. Riddell for Morris. The kick comes off Menzies. Chance for Manly. Menzies to halfway. Has his legs cut from under him by Morris. Now Terry Hill. They take him on, 3 of them. And they put the veteran centre down. Penalty. Manly. 30 out. 22 in.
Well, it was a good 5-tackle start for Parramatta until the kick went straight into the oncoming defence. And then a penalty given away, second tackle. Michael Witt in jersey number 18, returning to his old stomping ground. Mark Riddell, an early bust. Slapped high by Matai and Kennedy, but he came out the other side. That was more important to him. Fair motivation for Michael Witt coming back to this ground. Didn't leave in great circumstances. Felt like he wasn't treated particularly well. He'd like to come back and repay in kind.
Manly, chance for first points. Once they've played this year. 18-12, Parramatta won it. Score the second half for them. Witt hits it, and it bounces away. Tahu runs it back. Referee ruling the tackle was around the shoulders. Now McKinnon pushing away, getting it out almost to the 10-metre line. But Watmo and Kennedy already working very hard. Riddell not frightened to run from dummy half early. Kalis again. That's his third hit up, and it's a very good tackle. He lost the ball. He's out. He's out cold, the Parramatta captain. Jason King made the tackle. Great concern for Nathan Kalis, the Parramatta captain. He was nailed by King. Oh, gee, they picked him up and driven him, haven't they?
I can't hear you loud. Yes?
It's over the top, Williamson. By now, the video referee, Mick Stone, would have been talking to Tim Manda.
Well, for what it's worth, I think it's a great tackle. I think it's, it's just a pick them up, drive them tackle. 2 big men, 2 front rowers, head on. Nathan Kalis would like to pull one of those off himself if he gets the chance. They're going to pull Jason King out.
Mate, my vision was blocked. I could only see the back. The video referee's come over the top. You have put him in a dangerous position. That's on report.
Penalty then to Parramatta.
So there's a difference between a lifting tackle and there's a difference between a good front-on driving tackle. That was a good front-on driving tackle. I don't think Williamson helped coming in over the top, but this will put a bit of feeling into the game now. Here we go. Finals time.
So Kalis has been replaced, but it's not counted as an interchange.
And Michael Bellich just trying to make his way on in jersey 16. He's out there now as Robinson goes towards the 40.
Centre of the ground here at Parramatta Stadium. Kennedy again with Menzies in the tackle. Tim Smith away for Glenn Morrison. And again, the tackling is jolting. Again, Watmo was involved together with his captain, Monahan. Now for Stringer, and he runs it straight at the number 17 for Manly. That's Brent Kite. Parramatta with the ball 22 metres away from the Manly line. And Morris knocks on. Morris knocks on, extinguishing any chance that Parramatta might have had. A little bit of a dust-up in back play, nothing happening.
That's just Terry Hill playing games. He's winking, chatting, getting in their faces, getting in their ears. Look at him. Tezza in behind the ruck there. Come and get me if you want me. Says, I've stirred you up during the week. I'm here if you want me. That's all good stuff.
20 away then from the Manly line. And this is Hicks, who was in doubt for the game. Dummy half. It's Matai. Is the meeting that I was talking about earlier. Eels 18, Manly 12. And I think I'm right in saying Parramatta was scoreless in the second half. Then, in fact, in recent times, they've been notorious for their slow starts, Parramatta, and coming home strong. Penalty goes to Parramatta now.
Goes against Terry Hill. They're having something to say. There's a motion made by the referee, Tim Mander, about the chat. The crowd love it.
He picked on the wrong bloke there. He picked on the bloke in the white jersey. Just give it to the blokes in blue and goal. He gets up here, he'll look at the referee, he'll give him another goal full, so that's twice. The referee says, well, you can't talk to me like that. Here, get this in, you gave him a penalty. Picked on the wrong bloke.
He might have just mistaken the symbol there, 2 fingers up.
So Stringer runs into King and Menzies. 15 metres away from the Manly line. Riddell goes over to Robinson. Robinson to Vella. That's a very good shot. Again from Watmo. Riddell dummied right, passed it left. Tim Smith away for Daniel Wagon forward.
Well, it hasn't been a smooth start for the Eels, that's for sure. That is forward. No doubt about that. It's left the hands in a forward direction. He's had a kick charge down. Simple drop ball from John Morris. Maybe nerves.
Stewart is hammered in the defence from Parramatta. In fact, it was Stevenson. They're just outside the 20-metre line. Manly's end of the ground, played there by Kite, is with Kennedy now, who runs the left side. 30 metres away from his own line. It's Williamson, a dummy half, and this is big Jason King, who's on report for that tackle on Nathan Kalis. Vella was one of the tacklers, together with Morris and also Robinson. Williamson goes on to Monahan, and Monahan gets a kick away, and coming up out of the deep is McKinnon. He takes it back to his own 20-metre line. He comes outside the 30-metre line, and Menzies leads the procession down the ground with Hill to make the tackle on the Parramatta fullback. And now Growth goes for a run, tries to bump away from Menzies, but he's pulled up there by Williamson. King on the halfway line with Kite coming in as the third tackler. Parramatta go over the halfway mark. Oh, Vella taken in, another solid tackle by Watmo. It's been a feature of the opening exchanges, the tackling of Watmo, as it comes away from Morrison, and it goes on out along the line for Parramatta's Luke Burt to play the ball. He's not happy with Matai. Parramatta gets the penalty. Well, that's right on top of you, Andrew. You're almost in the middle of it.
Absolutely. We'll keep our distance to some degree. Tamana Tahu at the finish with Jason King. It's fair to say not too many punches were thrown, but the number 4, Steve Matai, he's in his first year of first grade, he's in his first final, and he's plenty fired up.
Going to stay quiet for a moment. You had him in a headlock the whole time. Don't walk away, Steve. Keep away from that area, and we won't have any troubles. That's why he's overreacting. No, it's pretty straightforward, Michael. It's over the head. That was it. Luke, here. Let me look after it. Okay, I had it the whole time. Let me respond, not you.
Well, if he had him in a headlock and you said you saw it, why didn't you penalise him? Then he wouldn't have had to get up and do something himself.
That was a question asked by Michael Monahan as the captain.
Exactly, yeah. It's no good saying after the ball.
Villa again, running into a brick wall tackle from Watmo. He's pushing people out of the road to make tackles, Watmo. He's so enthusiastic. Now Tim Smith, long ball away for Tahu. He beats him easily. Beats Stevenson in the process. And Tamana Tahu has scored. Parramatta 4, Manly no score.
Holden have brought him.
Finals football live on 9. 4-0, the Eels over the Eagles, with the kick at goal to be taken by Luke Burt, just a couple of metres in from touch here on the western side. He's just getting some attention.
Plenty of words being said in the Manly camp. This was the penalty. Steve Maddai penalised for having Luke Burt in a headlock. And unfortunately for Steve, after giving away the penalty, he was the player stood up by the try scorer, Tamana Tahu, but there have been better defenders beaten one-on-one by the Parramatta centre three-quarter. Brilliant on his feet. Nice offload here from Paul Stringer, some second phase play. Defence just starting to retreat a little bit. Wide pass, and then in and away from Tamana Tahu.
Here's the kick from Bird. It's across the face of the uprights. So Parramatta missed the chance to convert, but I guess there's going to be a lot of missed attempts at goal from both Burt and Witt today. Andrew Voss sideline.
Nathan Kaler still on the bench for Parramatta, so that's the good news. Just dazed after that tackle from Jason King. I've got to say, we're loving the aggression, we're loving the fire to start. This is finals footy, but some of these players have got to be very, very careful. A lot of swinging arms in tackles. It's not going to take too much to find ourselves in a situation where Tim Manda might need to take some pretty serious action.
Here's Vella bringing it back. And Manly there to meet him, and you don't need to be told it's Watmough and Kennedy again. Stringer then runs it out to the 20-metre line. He's met there by Williamson. And the force of the tackle actually taking Stringer a couple of metres further down the ground. Here's Robinson just inside the 30-metre line with Kite, the major tackler that time. Riddell sort of pushing Kite out of the road as again he makes 10 metres in a dummy half run. 40-metre line, Parramatta's end of the ground. They lead 4-0 as it goes out to Stringer, and Stringer does a nice job on Watmough. Gets it away to McKinnon. McKinnon picked up in defence eventually by Watmough. They're down on the Manly 40-metre line. Riddell puts a kick in. It bounces favourably for Manly, and that is Stewart, the fullback, in possession.
He's made some great head-on tackles, says Anthony Watmough, in the first 10 minutes of this game, but none more important than the one behind there. Wade McKinnon was through, had support on his right, as Maddai comes off his centre to get involved in the middle of the ruck.
Vella and Robinson making the tackle. Now Williamson goes away and might have had a little bit of a look. Vella goes back with the advantage, swinging across to Parramatta, and he will play the ball, Vella, 30 metres away from the Manly line. Morrison then, and Matai goes in. The crowd, they look for a penalty, but Manda indicated shoulders only. Now it's with Tim Smith, and he dances and he goes through. He gets it away for Robinson. Robinson scores under the post. Well, they stood off the halfback from Parramatta. They were probably looking for the kick. 8-0, 11 minutes gone. Back live at Parramatta Stadium. And from right in front, Luke Burt to convert the Robinson try. It is 10-0 in favour of the Eels now.
And a complete overread there by the Manly defence. The quality of the Tim Smith passing game all season. Catching them out. They were expecting the inside ball. He pokes the tongue out as he draws the fullback, and Chad Robinson backing up on the right-hand side under the post. Manly have come out with all guns firing. They now look at the scoreboard, 10-0 down. They've got to react positively to it, or otherwise the game will get away from them.
Well, the key is there's one thing between aggressive defence and smart defence. They've been up hitting hard. All the collisions have been really tough. But when you're down on your own line, you've got to defend smart. No good just going in and belting blokes one out, not locking up the ball or taking the man with the ball.
Here's Vella, who picked up the drop ball from Kite. It was a bad passage of play for Brent Kite. He dropped the ball, gave possession to Parramatta, and then it was between him and Williamson that Smith found the opening to put Robinson away. Now it's Daniel Wagon. Wagon inside the 30-metre line. Parramatta's into the ground. He is the stand-in, if you like, for Hindmarsh. His growth with a strong run. He's only had a couple of carries, but he's been able to make something like 10 metres. Smith kicks, charged down Menzies. That hurt Menzies. Menzies must have taken that right on the head, because he looked to me to be dazed or stunned by the impact.
No restart of the tackle count, so the referee has ruled that it wasn't deliberately played out by Beaver, as Wade McKinnon almost gets past the 30 into space.
Well, that must have been a good tackle by Watmough, because 3 Parramatta players finished up on their rump as it comes off the boot of Riddell and bounces up for Stewart back 15 out from his line. He runs away from the western side and goes over towards the centre of the ground, and Parramatta's chase was very good.
A great chase there, and I'm sorry I shouldn't use nicknames. Beaver is Steve Menzies.
Stevenson now. He will play the ball 31, 32 metres away from Manly's line. They're down 10-0, the visiting side, Manly, the 8th placed Manly, up against the minor premiers with the best defence and attack in the league. And they've won 7 of their last 9 against the Manly Sea Eagles. On the halfway line, it's played there by Manly, and it's come away from Monaghan for Kennedy to step off his left foot, and he plays the ball, or will play. He won't be playing the ball. It's come loose. Kennedy is hurt. Ben Kennedy's injured. So 2 of the big names in the game have both been on the wrong end of Lady Luck. Nathan Kalis, now Ben Kennedy.
He's a tough man. He doesn't stay down, Ben Kennedy, unless he's hurt. Chad Robinson receiving a little bit of attention out there as the ball pops loose. Back rowers involved there, Robinson and Morrison. And the ball came out of its own free will in the eyes of the referee.
They've done a lot of work this week, Parramatta, on that man, Ben Kennedy. His right arm offload. He's got a good left foot step. He can get in between players. Looks like Menzies and Brett Stewart will be hurtling into holes alongside of him looking for the offload. But every time Kennedy has run the ball in this game, there's been 3 Parramatta defenders from either side locking up the ball, and that time they were able to force it loose. Ben Kennedy is a danger man, but Parramatta are prepared well for him.
So Smith working the scrum, and his 5'8" Morris is tackled about 8 metres short of halfway. Hill coming in to make the tackle with Michael Witt. Now for Daniel Wagon. He crosses the halfway line, then crawls along the ground a further couple of metres. 5 metres into Manly's territory now. 10-0 in favour of Parramatta as they take it up towards the 30-metre line. Brian Smith, in his 9th term with Parramatta, he's taken them to the finals on 7 occasions.
And he's just sent that man out there, Adam Peake, 4 string of the man off.
So it's Riddell, a dummy half, working it away to the left for Morris. Vella trails him, goes through the gap, and Vella stands, looks to offload, gets it to Riddell. Riddell still standing, looking to unload. Now he tries to go ahead. Riddell will play the ball a metre from the line. Dummy half was Peake, now Smith. He puts a kick out, looking for Burt, but it's too big. Miles too big this time.
A little bit of finals adrenaline there for Tim Smith. He's been so accurate with his crossfield kicks earlier this year. That one just had a little bit too much pump in it. Been thinking about that first kick all week.
Here's Watmo now. Morrison and Robinson making the tackle, and again it comes away from Manly's possession. Watmo this time not securing the football.
This is going to kill Manly. It will kill Manly because too much possession for Parramatta they cannot cope with. Parramatta's fast play out of dummy half, players moving onto the edges of the ruck off the first receiver, is a little too much for Manly at the moment. They need the ball. They can't win without it.
Morris and Smith just change positions there as Tahu makes ground down the left side of the ground. He plays it 20 metres out from the Manly line, and Growth sets his compass and goes straight ahead. Taken by Michael Witt and also by Terry Hill. Played back for Daniel Wagon. It's gone away to Smith and come away now further from Peake. It's gone on to Robinson. Robinson is taken down. Kennedy over the top. He seems to have recovered. A quick play of the ball. Riddell runs across the ground. He'll score, Riddell! The former Dragon, Mark Riddell, has scored Parramatta's 3rd try, 17th minute. The finals live on 9. And Burt from close range to convert the Riddell try. 3 tries, 2 goals Parramatta. They're out to a lead of 16-0, and they're just behind the clock. Andrew.
Yeah, at the moment Manly unravelling, but Des Hasler, coach, trying to get everything he can out of them. Kylie Luluwai now into the match. He just needs some sort of inspiration. Look, there's still plenty of time going up to half-time. We're only a quarter of the way through the match. They just need to get on the board. 16-6. That's not that bad.
Kylie Luluwai, one of the biggest hitters in the game, but he can come up with some misses. And that is not what is needed from Manly. He needs to be very selective, whether he makes the tackle or whether he goes for the big shot, as Michael Vella takes the restart in his own in-goal, winds up head centre field, picks up 12.
Pulled up by Dunley, who's into the game for Manly. He was at the centre of that controversy, splitting controversy in that match when they played their only encounter this year. Here's Ben Smith down the left side. Just inside the 40-metre line, he got entangled, you might remember, with PJ Marsh. Here is Robinson running at Dunley, and Dunley misses him badly. And he will play the ball just on the Parramatta side of halfway with Luluwai, the chief tackler. And this is Adam Peake, and he takes it ahead strongly, but Watmough and Kennedy are there again, tackling in unison. Away from Morris, and Morris puts it high in the air. It'll be swirling around up there. The bounce is there. Parramatta, they've got the ball! They're going to score! Parramatta's got their fourth try! Luke Bowles scored, but they're going to the video referee.
And we're going to the video referee for the ball coming off the kicker, John Morris. Parramatta players are rejoicing. But we shall go upstairs to see whether there is a knock-on from the man who put the ball up originally. Okay, the chasers look fine. They're in line on the left-hand side. Stewart looked at his winger. We're never going to get there on the full. Now, John Morris, does he get a touch there, and does it go on to Brett Stewart? I think he does.
Boys, we've got to wait.
Now get your magnifying glass out. Replay it as many times as you like. But the fact that the ball's gone that far forward, you would have to think there is some contact there from Morris right there.
Yeah, he's touched it, and I think he's gone onto the fingers of Stewart. I don't think this is a try, but we've gone up to the video referee, who is Mick Stone.
The point Peter's making, of course, if the ball does travel forward and then comes in contact with an opposition player or the goalpost, for instance, it is a knock-on. If it hasn't touched Manly and Morris regathers, it's okay, but it's no try to play the ball.
It's a smart kick, though. Anytime you can get a bomb coming down in between winger and fullback, you'll get that sort of reaction. As soon as the fullback and the winger look at each other, they lose sight of the ball, and the normal reaction is they let it bounce. They let it bounce there, and they got their pants pulled down. Do they need something good to go for them here, Manly?
So 16-0 is the score as we adjust our minds. And it's taken away by Heckenberg, a former Parramatta Eel, and now it's with Luluwai and Parramatta surge in.
And Luluwai got rid of PJ Marsh there, who's now on for Mark Riddell. The rotation hooking position has been made. There he is involved in the tackle with John Morris.
And ironically, the tackle made on Shane Dunley as Heckenberg drives this play down over the halfway line. They're about 7 or 8 metres into Parramatta's area now, Manly, as Michael Witt gets a kick away. It's not necessarily got a lot of depth about it. McKinnon fielding at 15 out. He's run across the 20-metre line. He's trying to get further down the ground, but Luluwai is there to stop him with Watmough. And he plays a 25 out from the Parramatta line. It's gone over to Growth now, and Growth coming in off his wing to take a strong run out to a point 35 metres away from the Parramatta line. Here's Peake joining in again, running at Dunley. And Dunley eventually makes the tackle together with Luluwai. Watmough, a third man in the tackle. Now Burt swerves and then is pulled down. Luluwai just got a bit of jumper and pulled him in. Now it's come away to Vella. Vella's gone up towards the 30-metre line. Kennedy rides him to the ground. And it's a quick play, the ball by Michael Vella. Here's Marsh putting a kick in over the top of the defence, but Stevenson fell back nicely to support his fullback, and Stevenson will play the ball for Manly.
I get the feeling Brian Smith thinks that he can put this game away even in this half, and he's got PJ Marsh out there quickly, Dean Witters out there quickly, all within the first 20 minutes. I think he sees points out there, and points that could put his team well in front of the opposition, a long way from home.
PJ Marsh went in very awkwardly there, and it was a good run by Luluwai. Now Dunley gets it away. Here's Terry Hill with the ball. Tim Smith is after him, and Growth is there with Smith to make the tackle on Terry Hill, a couple of metres Manly side of halfway, and the dummy half, Williamson, was forced to go himself. It's Hicks, I think, out there as the runner actually got in front of him. He couldn't pass it to him as Michael Witt puts the kick down the ground now. And coming across to mark it and run it out is McKinnon. McKinnon looks at Burt and says, do you want it? No. And he takes the tackle of Watmough and Kennedy again. 15 metres out from the Parramatta line. It is 16 points to 0. 3 tries, 2 goals to Parramatta. Plays none for Manly. It's Burt on the 20-metre line now, with Menzies hanging on in the tackle together with Heckenberg. Tim Smith goes away again to Eric Grove, getting very highly involved today, Grove. He'll play the ball now, just outside the 30-metre line, his own end of the ground. As Vella comes outside the 40-metre line, Kennedy is there to make the tackle with Heckenberg, and they're 5 metres short of halfway. Back to Marsh it comes now, and here's Withers. He senses an opening up the middle. He goes up and is taken by Heckenberg. Played quickly back to Marsh. One-handed pick up by Smith. He puts a kick down low towards the try line. Manly's end of the ground and Stewart brings it back. Morrison waits for him. He beats Morrison, but Smith is there to make the tackle.
Well, I hope the outside backs for Parramatta get a word to Tim Smith that the first time they run the ball on tackle 5, they will come up with a try. They look very ragged at the back end of the set of 6. They're laying back, hanging back, waiting for the kick. A penalty here for Manly, a relieving one. But the first time Parramatta spread the ball on tackle 5, I guarantee they go close to scoring.
23 minutes of the game gone. 16-0 the score. Manly, they've made too many mistakes. It's quite simple. They've given or invited Parramatta to race out with this lead, although Parramatta's start wasn't all that comfortable either. Lulawai's been strong since he came on. That was him. Matai, Monahan, now Heckenberg. And he will play the ball just inside the 40-metre line. We are down Parramatta's end of the ground as it's played back to Dunley, and Dunley goes to Witt, and Witt's pass is bad out in front of Hill, but he got a nice bounce, and then he steamrolls across the top of Tim Smith, and eventually Hill is tackled out there by Ben Smith. And Hill's down. Terry's down.
Driving tackle there from Ben Smith. The shoulder of the ball carrier straight into the turf. A lot of weight behind it.
His neck is in an awkward position at the same time. Ben Smith is big. He's a raw bone thing. And he's driven Hill with the full force of his weight at speed.
When Terry Hill got the ball, he had 2 Smiths to run at. He said, I'll go for the little one. So he ran at Tim Smith and ran over the top of him, and Big Tim, Big Ben, just came and got him.
Now this will be a knock-on against Parramatta. The original play was not a knock-on. The kick came off a Parramatta player, but not off his hands, and he didn't play at the ball anyway, but then Morrison had a chance and knocked on. Terry's okay again, Terry Hill, so it would seem. So Manly get the feed and the loose head to a scrum 20 metres out from the line. Michael Witt striding out, gets the ball away to Chris Hicks, and Hicks is held 10 metres out from the Parramatta line. They haven't really been tested, Parramatta. Here's a penalty to Manly. To give them time to set up one of their rehearsed plays straight towards the centre of the ground to Lulawai. Monahan waving his arms about, coming left again. Monahan over the 10, picks up Menzies, and Menzies has the ball wedged against the midriff and then forced back. Good defence by Morrison and by Withers. Menzies then playing the ball back to Dunley, who goes to the right, and Heckenberg winds up. He runs at PJ Marsh, and Marsh met him, much smaller man, and drove him down. Morrison got involved. Now it's away from Dunley, gone on to Monahan. It goes to Watmough, and they are very close, Manly. They're 3 metres away. A test of the online defence here for Parramatta. A dummy from Dunley, and he's put down and tackled 5 away. 5 gone for Parramatta. Scrambling, holding at the moment. Stewart for Monahan. Monahan puts the kick up. Oh, good take by Parramatta. They spread the ball quickly. Here's Grove. Grove stretching right out now. Comes outside the 30. He goes outside the 40. Oh, Chris Hicks comes across in a great tackle. Got his man, 5 on 5. Now Burt gets it on. It's gone from Wagon. Gone over to Morris. Morris gets it away. McKinnon goes down the left side. Puts a kick in. Parramatta denied a try by Stewart.
What's this run from Eric Grove coming out of his own in goal? On the quick turnover, Parramatta got the ball out to the left-hand side of the field. Good take here and quick hands. That's confidence. Now Eric Grove goes up the middle of the field. What's the referee, Tim Mander? Tim Mander goes through the hole. He's got to get out of the way. Get out of me way, he says. And Eric Grove chases him up the field.
Great work from Wade McKinnon as well. He realised that as soon as the ball was taken at the other end, he had to get in a position to support. He was to the left of that man, Eric Grove. And then shortly afterwards, he was able to scoot down the side, put a kick in. Ben Smith almost arrived. Restart from under the post. It's a slow one from Manly. Moments ago, they were 100 metres up the other end.
How many carries has Growth had today?
And I'll tell you what, he's made more than 10 metres on every one of them.
This is a good line drop out for Manly. Taken on the halfway line by Parramatta. Pete goes back. And Adam is put down 30 metres out from the Manly line. Main tackler was Heckenberg. Slow play the ball. Marsh for Stringer. Stringer held by Kennedy. Looks to slam it. Gets it away. McKinnon. A metre from the line. Quick play the ball and there's trouble. Marsh is able to stand and offload. Stringer is with Perry Hill. The ball bounced. It's gone to Grove. Grove has scored. Eric Grove has scored. Parramatta scores their fourth try.
Holding the...
Well, we just finished talking about Eric Grove Jr. He's having a busy day, and now he scores a try to take it out to 20-0 in favour of Parramatta.
He'll be thanking Paul Stringer, who made the initial half break and found Wade McKinnon in support. Great tackle, one-on-one there. Brett Stewart. Now, PJ Marsh throws the pass here. I think they score anyway, but he keeps it alive, and Paul Stringer again gets involved. Spins around Terry Hill, gets the ball underneath to Eric Grove. Unstoppable from there. Started the movement 5 minutes ago, Eric Grove, to get his team out of trouble. Now he puts the football down as Luke Burt moves in to convert.
And that's the job he's got in front of him. It's a lovely kick. Brings it back on the wind. 22 points to nil. Parramatta rampaging over Manly at the moment, Andrew.
Absolutely, and a little story on Eric Grove. A lot of the viewers watching today probably don't know the full story of Eric Grove. He made his debut back in 1999 for Parramatta. Then in the next 6 years, he had only 36 games in the top grade. He's bounced back to the best ever form this year. Now 15 tries in 21 games this year. May even have an Australian jumper come to the Tri-Nations Tour after the grand final.
A little bit of a problem for Morris. Will he get it back into the field of play? He loses the ball. And Manly will put a scrum down. It will be advantage to Manly. It's hard to believe, isn't it, that in their last 3 outings, Parramatta have scored just 1 try in the first half. Here we are looking at the board and they've scored 4. This is Morris.
They fell asleep from the restart here. John Morris was lucky to get the ball back before the dead ball line, and then some strong defence by Stevenson and Matai will give Michael Monaghan a scrum fee, just 10 out.
So Menzies stands away from the scrum. He'll be the strike weapon, you would think, as Monaghan goes to him. Menzies up to the 10 metre. Oh, he loses the ball. Well, nothing is happening for Manly, but it's a penalty. They're inside the 5. They weren't 5 metres behind the last line of forwards at the scrum.
Well, a touch unlucky there, the Parramatta side, because the ball was slow in coming out the back of the scrum, won by Manly. As the chat sees them a half metre out.
Monaghan a dummy half. Michael Withers with the ball. BJ Kennedy goes hard, and hard he goes towards the line. Held inches away by Morrison. Now the ball has been raked out.
That's close to a sin bin.
It is close to a professional foul. So Manly get a penalty. Parramatta just had enough time to regroup. Heckenberg now. He will play the ball right in front of the uprights. You can see them there. Top of the screen, Dunley. Dunley does a little dance and goes back to Lulawai, but that really is a wasted tackle. Parramatta with compressed defence around to play the ball. And now from Dunley, they decide to spread the ball. Witt goes back to Kennedy, intercepted by Parramatta's Tahu. Tahu comes up with the ball for Parramatta. As I said, nothing is working for Manly as Peake bumps away from Monaghan. Comes to the 18 and Witt brings him down.
But that's great defence from Tamana Tahu, and that's what I reckon Parramatta needed to improve from the second half of the season to be a premiership threat, to have their outside backs prepared to back themselves, come up and in. Tamana Tahu's intercept there is a great sign.
Ben Smith is with the ball and he's with Terry Hill at the moment. Lulawai involved right on the halfway line.
And after that early knock, Nathan Kalis makes his way back out, the skipper. back into the game after half an hour.
40-metre line, Manly's end of the park. Tim Smith saw the Manly defence rushing up on him, so he just swerved away and put a kick in beautifully. Will he get back, Stewart? No, he's grounded in goal. Well, that had lovely weight on it from Tim Smith. And Growth has made the tackle, continuing a great day for the son of one of the Parramatta legends. Look at the speed.
Well, it's an absolute mismatch at the moment, and it's a mismatch because Manly are not controlling where Parramatta get the ball. They've got no control over the Parramatta play. Parramatta, as a result, are playing exactly the way they train. It's a training gallop at the moment. They're playing at their own pace. They're playing too fast for Manly. They're doing all the little things well. Manly need to get the ball and then control where and when Parramatta get it.
Here's Kalis. His first touch since coming back into the game. Played to Marsh and gone to Stringer. Widders is there lurking and senses that it won't be long before this man who just makes a habit of scoring tries will be there again. Here he is with the ball, holding it out in front of him. He puts on a sprint and he's held a couple of metres from the line. Widders held by Watmo, and it is Sam Harris who's on. Now to to Smith. He gives it to Wagon. Wagon throws the ball back, speculating. And Manly are with it with Heckenberg.
Yeah, but it's a good sign. I like Daniel Wagon as a footballer, and I particularly like him when he runs hard and fast. And it's a couple of times now off Tim Smith's shoulder. He's just plowed himself into the opposition. That's a great sign for the bigger games ahead as well.
Watmo now taken by Marsh, who's tackling well above his weight today.
Yeah, got hurt in round 15, had one game in Premier League. And don't forget, he came to Parramatta from the Dragons as a fullback winger. Now plying his trade in the back row as Dunley goes across field, finds Harris.
Hill losing his footing, then rising and giving it to Dunley, and Dunley tried to duck under the arm of the outstretched arm of Stringer. It comes from Witt and it's gone to Kite, and Kite is held by Widders up the top and Kalis down below. 7 or 8 metres on their own side of halfway. They're on the end of the tackle count now as Michael Witt drives it high. It's going down towards McKinnon. McKinnon has been a wonderful number 1 for Parramatta this year, and he's been very well deputised by young Reddy. Here is Burt with the ball now, running towards Monaghan, but the captain for Manly ties the Parramatta number 2 up. There's McKinnon rising. Young bloke I was just talking about, came from South Sydney to Parramatta. In fact, I think he went from Parramatta to South and then back again. Here's Marsh now, talking about going somewhere and coming back again. He did the same when he went over to New Zealand. Plays the ball on halfway, centre of the ground. Morris on it goes. Widders is with the ball, and he runs it straight at Harris. 42 metres out from the Manly line. 22 points to 0 for Parramatta over Manly. Kalis putting a little bit of a sidestep into his work as he gets it down to the 30-metre line. 55 metres gained on those 5 tackles as Smith goes high. This is very, very high. And underneath it, Stewart makes the mistake. Well, they're coming up with a harvest of mistakes at the back for Manly. And I'm not about to blame young Stewart, but this win, it is playing tricks with this ball, obviously.
Well, Parramatta are doing it well. Their 5th tackle options are great. They're putting pressure on the back 3, whereas Manly, their kicking game, you know, we've had 35 minutes in this game. They haven't had one good constructive kick.
He's got a sore chest weight, McKinnon, from catching them on the full.
Here they are again, Parramatta, with Tahu trying to step through. It's a quick play, the ball. It's gone away out to Ben Smith. It's been dead on the bird. Burt scores Parramatta's 5th try. They lead 26-0 now, coming up to half-time. Nothing to cheer about for the Manly supporters. It's a glum, collectively, it's a glum look on their hardy supporters who've made a fairly long trip across here.
They'll be keen to get to the sheds at half-time, just to have a bit of a break from this. Ben Smith probably could have scored himself, but he made a bird of it by finding Burt on the outside. It came from a high kick from Tim Smith, which forced a mistake from Brett Stewart. The kicking game has been excellent.
Here's Burt now from touch. It's online, it's there, flags up. 28-0 now. 3 minutes to half-time, Andrew.
Yeah, and it is shades of 2001, the last time Parramatta were minor premiers, when they took on the 8th-placed Warriors the first week of the finals. They won that day, a Sunday afternoon, by 56 points to 12. Look, we've got to call it as we see it, and Manly at the moment are doing it real tough. Their best comeback in the club's history, though, was this year. They came back from 20 points down against the Panthers way back in round 12. But the task today, a lot tougher than that.
Careless, running it back towards Menzies, and Harris 15 metres away from his own line. The Parramatta captain, Stringer, has done well today for Parramatta. Certainly played a major role in one of the tries.
He's loving his football, Paul Stringer. He said he's gone from 3 wooden spoons to a minor premiership.
Withers is out to the 30-metre line as the clock tells us we're inside the last 3 of the first half. Kalis, again, holding the ball out in front of him, and he's developed this little swerve. Just trying to take a little bit of heat and impact off the tacklers as Marsh puts a kick in. Riddell in a rest period at the moment. Here's Stewart, and he's gone straight through the tackle. Tahu goes outside the 40-metre line, swerves away from Withers, gets around Marsh, goes over the halfway, down towards Wagon. Now he gets it on to Hill. Hill gives it away to Hicks. Hicks is over there with Tim Smith on him, and so too is Ben Smith. And the Smith boys make the tackle. Monahan for Kite, Kite for Witt to the ground, away from Watmo, thrust down for Kennedy. He throws the ball, hopes for the best, comes down to Stevenson. Stevenson taken down by over the top by Burt. That's the 30-metre line there for Manly's Matai. He turns it back as he stands in the tackle. It's with Dunley. Dunley goes towards Marsh, puts a fend on him, gets rid of Marsh, throws him away like a rag doll, 20 metres out from the Parramatta line. Harrison, 21, a dummy half. Off it, Monahan is knocked on. They just can't mount any pressure at all. Bumbled their way through the first half, mistake upon mistake.
And a bit of intensity had gone out of Parramatta in the last minute or two, highlighted by the break made by Brett Stewart from the kick.
Coming up in Holden half-time, Tim Smith is the VB player cam subject, and your chance to win $1,000 in the VB Man of the Match competition, plus tactics with Phil Gould and Andrew Voss. They'll talk about that in Holden half-time. One of our great sponsors, Holden, and of course VB. They've been great. As it comes away from Kalis and goes to PJ, and he puts on, Dunley picked him up in defence. It looked worse than it was, and it was across the chest. It's near the halfway line with Marsh to play it. Played back for Tim Smith, now for Paul Stringer. Gets it away, second man, Morris went into the shoulder of Matai. Then Matai dives on him, ties him up, and it's gone from Marsh and gone on to Smith, and Smith away to Kalis to Wagon back to Kalis, and the front rower has to put a kick in. It doesn't look too bad. It's going over towards the sideline. He's found the line. Well, the captain, he's not just a pretty face.
Oh, he's hit that one nicely. And it was double barrel in effect. He was giving his outside chasers maybe a chance to get there. His first kick in play. And I think if he retires with 1 from 1, he can be pretty happy with the one he came up with.
I think those outside chasers you were talking about, they didn't even bother to chase it.
I think they knew it was coming.
We're going to take a break. We're going to take a break and come back to Holden half-time. You're watching the live coverage of the finals on 9, first weekend. Parramatta 28 at half-time. Sea Eagles yet to score. Here's a break and back in just a moment. So the second half underway. 6 tries, 4 goals, 28 points unanswered for Parramatta. As Harris comes back and runs into the shoulder of Marsh, and Stringer is there. And Kalis makes 3 in the tackle. 15 away from the Manly line for Kite. Tough run just outside the 25-metre point now as it comes away for Harris again. And again Marsh is there in the front line. I made the point that he looks to be tackling well above his weight, as he always does. But today he's made some tremendous front-on tackles. Menzies plays the ball now just outside his 40-metre line. Michael Witt over for Ben Kennedy. Then it goes to Brent Kite. He only just secured the football, and the impact of the tackle from Morrison and Stringer. And then Michael Witt puts this kick down to complete the opening set for Manly in the second half as McKinnon runs across, and Kennedy comes up out of the line and grabs the fullback and pulls him down about 7 metres out from the Parramatta line. Growth then scampers in and takes it away from dummy half and kites over the top, and they drive him down with Monahan underneath. Play back for Burt, and Burt comes off the 10-metre line now. So there's the third tackle, and they're on the 20-metre line, Parramatta. So Growth goes away from dummy half, and again he makes good ground. Plays it 30 metres out from his line as Kalis goes away. On the 5th tackle, he will be failed and made to play the ball. 31 metres on the 5 tackles as Morris rakes his ball, screws it across the ground where it's taken by Hicks, and Hicks runs at Wagon, and Wagon is there to make the tackle together with Tim Smith 40 metres away from the Manly line. Terry Hill makes a run down the right side of the ground, but he runs into, again, a trio of Parramatta defenders, including Wagon and Stringer. And then from Dunley, it's gone to Matai, and Matai is taken by Morrison and Ridders. Just a couple of metres away from the halfway line, Parramatta's entered the park. Parramatta defending the southern end as Watmo is given a second man play, a decoy from Kennedy, and he will play the ball 40 metres away from the Parramatta line. Played back and comes away from Stewart, who was a dummy half. There's Kite taking it ahead. Morrison again doing a lot of defence, which you don't need to be told. You expect that from Morrison. He has set a lot of high standards for himself in that area. The kick goes down, doesn't find the in goal. It finds McKinnon, and McKinnon comes back. Kennedy is pursuing him like a fugitive and brings him down 12 metres away from the Parramatta line. Andrew Voss sideline.
Yeah, I can tell you what Des Hasler was saying. We showed you those pictures during hold at half-time, but Des Hasler thought that the error rate of his team was disgraceful in the first half. Your discipline was poor, he said. You've got to show that you are better than that in this second half. And from Brian Smith, here's an ominous warning: be ruthless. Be ruthless. That was the message for the second half. And I tell you what, the last 5 weeks they have been ruthless in second halves. They have scored 24 tries to 3 in the second 40 minutes of their last 5 matches.
Stringer on tackle 5, almost making halfway. Smith, right foot kick. Down between wing and full back, and folding across there is Stevenson to bring it away over the 10-metre line, but Withers was the first man down there. Morrison came in to make a 2-man tackle. Matai, a dummy half, throws a long pass away for Stewart, and he's put down and tackled just inside his own 20-metre line. Tackle being PJ Marsh. Matai again a dummy half, running this time, trying to go up the middle, hoping that the markers might go to sleep, but Stringer was able to shut the gap 30 metres away from the Manly line. Here's Michael Witt coming to Daniel Wagon, gets the ball away. There's a chance here for Parramatta to come up with it. No, it's a penalty to Manly.
Yeah, other teams take note of that. That is Tim Mander's favourite penalty. He likes the markers to be very square, and he likes them to be up level with the play of the ball. He doesn't like you to cheat. And he will penalise that particular play more often than any ref.
Kite running into Wagon, and Ben Smith, of course, Ben guarding the left side as Menzies thinks about thrusting the ball back. That's one thing Manly doesn't have to worry about now. They can basically throw caution to the wind. Monahan back for Kennedy, and Kennedy is up to the 10-metre line. A little bit better than that. McKinnon was there to make the tackle with Morris. Out goes Dunley from dummy half, runs a complete circle, goes back, then finds Monahan. Monahan is held by Morrison, and again we see a test here for the Parramatta on-line defence. It comes from Dunley. Bad pass, terrible pass. Harris got a one-handed pass out the back for Kennedy. Kennedy to Kite. Kite is taken on the shoulders, according to Manda. It's 3 metres out from the line. Tackle 5, Manly. Kennedy running a big decoy. Stewart puts a kick in. Parramatta have got the ball.
Got a knock on. It was great defence. Tim Manda has found a knock on. And that will be the emphasis in the second 40 minutes. Peter Sharp done a lot of drills with his defensive team at Parramatta. And here's an opportunity to make sure that they know what they've got coming in the weeks through the finals, where they should be as Manly win the scrum. Stewart throws the dummy. Can't beat the defence of Ben Smith.
Play in the southwestern corner as Hill gets it off and away to Monahan, then to Kite. Again they thrust it down, and it's back with Monahan, who gets away from Morrison. Not often is that done. Now it's gone out to Kennedy. Manly with a chance, a flick ball. Back to Watmo. Watmo's going for the line. He's over Watmo. Manly get first point second half. 28-4 the score. Back live at Parramatta Stadium with the 4th qualifying final. First weekend, live on 9, right across the weekend. And here's the kick from Michael Weir. Oh, he's hit the uprights again. 2 kicks, twice he's hit the big sticks, and they bounced away.
It's been a long time coming, the first points for Manly. Beautiful flick pass here from Ben Kennedy. Can do it all. And then Anthony Watmoe. Good upper body strength. Got rid of Morris, got rid of McKinnon. And for the second time this afternoon in as many attempts, Michael Witt hits the upright and he can come up with a wry smile.
Burt with the restart, high and deep. Taken back there by Stevenson, and he's sent Kite back out towards the 20-metre line, down the eastern touchline. Matai is tackled down, mainly by Tamana Tahu, right side defence for Parramatta. Now it's Harris, pass across the face, picking up Kennedy. Kennedy throws it back, keeping it alive, taking every available opportunity. Monahan passes, it's gone out to Menzies wide. Menzies runs back into the shoulder of Ben Smith and Daniel Wagon. They combine to put this prolific try-scoring back rower to the ground. And now Kennedy going close to the sideline. The ball goes back though, and it's with Terry Hill. It's gone over to Monahan. It looked to come off his hand and maybe travel forward, but it's allowed to go. Menzies gets it on to Kite, and Kite is tackled by Morrison, and Morris centre ground, 40-metre line, Manly's end. 28 points to 4 then. The new scoreboard. About 8 minutes of the second half gone, and here's Harris just flicking it back, and then Ben Smith goes up looking for an intercept, but it came off the fingertips. It's a knock-on against Parramatta. Well, there's no doubt they've been sent out there with the express instructions, just razzle-dazzle it, let's try and get back in it. We've got nothing to lose.
It'll be quite an entertaining second 40 minutes or 32 minutes left if what we've just seen is any indication of the way Manly have approached this. They know they've got to score a stack of points. Best way to do it is to keep the football alive. And they've had a fair bit of it early in this second half.
Terry Hill at first receiver from the scrum, and almost makes halfway as Kalis drives in with Widders. Play back to Dunley, and then it's gone on to Monahan. He just slides the ball off his left hip then to Harris, who's tackled about 5 metres on the Parramatta side of halfway. 15 in from touch over on the eastern side. Matai brings it back towards the centre, shows it once, then takes the tackle. And he's right on the 40-metre line, Parramatta's end of the park. Dunley comes away, he's running across the ground. He makes a lot of dummy half runs. In fact, I think he's maybe the season's top dummy half runner. And he's come right across the ground. He's gone dangerously close to the touchline. Eventually he's tackled and submits.
That's further evidence that Manly just stand too flat in attack. As soon as Dunley threw a dummy and ran sideways, he was actually behind every other player in his team. There was no one left to pass it to. That's why they gang tackled him.
5th tackle for Manly, and Monahan. He gets a kick away. It's gone across and it's landed in row 7 or 8 over on the terraces. That is nearly the worst kick I've seen in rugby league.
Well, it's in the finals.
He struck it well, just not in the right direction.
It's in the finals.
Michael Monahan, the 7 for Manly this year, but he'll probably have the 9 on next year. Morris combines. Tahu sprints. Tahu like lightning. Look at him go, Tahu. He puts it over the line. Tahu's second try. And there it is again, the slam dunk from Tahu. It's a good sign. That's not gold, that's blue and gold. Well done.
Well, it is this afternoon as Luke Burt looks to convert the Tamana Tahu try. Brian Smith pointed to Tahu and Mark Riddell's signings as two of the most significant the club has made under his tutelage. He was just warming to his task before he hurt his elbow against Cronulla, as Luke Burt is successful with adding the extra 2 points. And now that he's back fully fit with that elbow strapped, he explodes onto this inside ball from John Morris. Kennedy, not enough speed on the inside. And talk about speed, the man coming across Brett Stewart. Now, he is a noted speedster. He didn't take any ground off the man carrying the football.
And Tahu has made something of a habit of that. And the kickoff is down for Parramatta in their in goal. And Kalis goes running back towards Harris. And Dunley tried to put in a shoulder charge, and they've come up with the ball. Manly, Harris He will play the ball 5 metres out from the line. Watmo looking for his second try. Passes to Monahan. Then it's down to Dunley. Over to Menzies. Menzies is singled out by Wagon together with Ben Smith. Ball to be played to Hill. Off it goes, left across the ground to Dunley. Dunley on to Monahan. Monahan, a long pass out to Matai. It's 2-on-2 out there. Matai is able to get the ball back and away. It's put through by Stewart. It'll go dead. 20-metre restart.
And early in the tackle count after the one-on-one strip by Brent Kite. Just too strong. This could be a very important second half for Parramatta. I don't want to say it's a training run, but it is an opportunity with the match pretty much wrapped up of just getting their defence right and concentrating on that for when they take on sides like the Dragons, who they're going to have to be very, very good against without the football.
Robinson to play it. 34-4 the score. Parramatta leading in the fourth qualifying final. Withers. Are going to have to be very careful with the ball security. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but Manly are going in on every tackle and every play. They're trying to rake the ball away, and it'll be a good opportunity for Parramatta to practice ball security during this next 30 minutes as Michael Witt gets away. Marsh was able to rake the ball from him. Hill got the pass on. It's gone over to Matai. Matai into Parramatta's territory by 10, 15 metres, and it's a straggling run by the centre. He will play the ball. There was an appeal for a lost ball from Withers. Played back to Stevenson now, and Stevenson is tackled on the Parramatta 30-metre line. 20 metres in from the eastern touchline by Stringer and Robinson. Now it's with Harris again. Bound for the Tigers next year, I fancy. It's with Monahan. Monahan passes, and it's there for, I thought, for Tahu to put on the boot, but Watmow was able to get the ball back, and it's now with Stevenson.
And that is 6 again. It came off the hand of Tim Smith, who played at the football.
So Stringer making the tackle on Stevenson, and Matai again. He's really got himself involved in the second half. Menzies going through, looking for an offload, but Matai unable to do so. He plays it back to Dunley. Dunley gets it on to Monahan. Then it's away for Kennedy, and Kennedy is pulled down just inside the 10-metre line, at all times looking to unload the ball. Watmo, the try scorer for Manly at dummy half. Monahan with the ball, shows it, looked as though he's going to kick, and then turned it inside for Kite. And Kite is tackled there by Chad Robinson. And that might have hurt him a little bit, Kite. He plays it now. It's come back to Monahan, who goes back on the inside for Watmo. And Watmo looking to poke his nose through a hole behind the ruck. And there's 6 more tackles for Manly. So this is really going to be a test. Here's a penalty to Manly now. Taken by Watmo. Just a tap. No, Amanda said, I haven't marked the spot. So he wants it to take 2 on it. So Watmo's going to go the other way this time. Harris up to the 10, then to Menzies. Menzies, the pass goes behind Terry Hill. Picked up, play on. Hicks is with the ball. Ben Smith's after him. The ball is loose on the ground. Parramatta had a chance. The ball has gone forward off them, though.
That's right. So more defence coming their way. Crowd baying for blood. Well, not all of them.
This is terrible attack from Manly, though. Absolutely terrible. They're just standing alongside each other. There's no structure to what they're doing. No one moving onto the ball. Unless someone actually just backs up a little bit and comes at a bit of pace, they won't get through this Parramatta defence. Look at this.
Knocked on by Manly. Ben Smith coming up with possession.
You can't keep getting the ball standing still and hope to break the defence of the opposition. It just doesn't work.
Morris tackled down the right side of the ground by Stewart. Robinson. Dunley's throwing himself into these tackles rather awkwardly. He's bound to connect soon. Played by Marsh on the 40-metre line. Away it goes to Robinson. Robinson comes to Harris, flicks the ball out the back to McKinnon. McKinnon to Kalis. Kalis looked to pass, and then he sprints through the gap. Kalis has got support coming. McKinnon's there. Oh, he can't. Yes, he's got the ball away. It's hit the uprights. Manly are forced in goal. Manly forced in goal, line drop out. Kalis went through the gap, and he went like a gazelle.
We spoke about Brett Hodgson being one of the best support players in the game. Terry Lamb-like. This Wade McKinnon's no different. Just look at the ground he makes up to get into position. And when Kalis changes his mind, he gets back to the inside beautifully, has the awareness to keep it on the toe, then chase to lock them up in goal. Good play by Wade McKinnon. Great run there from the front rower.
Michael Witt's kick is way down to the halfway line. Michael Vella goes back. And the jolting tackle from Menzies together with Dunley ends his progress. 30 metres away from the Manly line, Robinson tries to step between Kennedy and Kite, but eventually he's pulled down and tackled just beyond the Manly 20-metre line. Lulawai is back into the game. It's come to Tim Smith, second man. McKinnon over the 20. Fends away from Menzies, comes to Dunley, and he's up towards the 10-metre line with hanging on there Brent Kite. 10 metres out from the Manly line. Play back to Riddell. Riddell gets it away. It's gone on to Tim Smith. There's a gap starting to present itself. Out wide they go. Tahu knocks on.
That was the wrong option. Ben Kennedy raced up very quickly on Tim Smith to put some pressure on his outside pass. He had a number to choose from. Watch Kennedy come up and get in his face. Now he can't get the close runner, so he tries to pick up the long man. Maybe the grubber kick or just dummy and go yourself. And that's what Tim Smith's got to learn, that sometimes you just can't go on with your play. I know he's got a little bit of latitude on the scoreboard here. It doesn't matter. But in a big game, that could count. If opposition think they can rush up and make him make a hasty decision, it'll be happening to him all the time.
Yeah, and that's the kind of, again, the attitude we're talking about. I'm sure that Brian Smith would want his team out there in this second half to treat it as though they're 2 or 4 behind on the scoreboard, not leading by 30. He wants them to play the kind of game that they're going to have to play in the coming weeks when they don't have the luxury of such a big lead. Kennedy now, over the 30, gets that arm free for the first time, but Riddell comes up with the ball.
So Riddell back into the game through second session. 25 metres out from the Manly line, and Riddell is hurt.
He's got a funny running style, Mark Riddell. When he runs the ball, he looks for all money like he wants you to tackle him. Then when you get to him, he doesn't want you to tackle him. He wants to palm you off. He runs like he's tired. Oh, whooshka. Whooshka. That's a whooshka.
Michael Witt.
Nothing fake about that. No accident there. Mark Riddell has stayed down. They'll get the penalty, and Michael Witt might be in trouble here. That's just an old-fashioned whooshka. Right on the Vera Lynn.
So Tim Mander has been told by Michael Stone up in the video box what has happened. The penalty will go to Parramatta, and Michael Witt has been placed on report.
Something constructive from Parramatta here, please. As Peter said, come in like it's close. Come in like you need one to win.
So Pete, jumper number 19, running it at Luke Williamson. He's got the play for 7 metres out. They've gone back to be 10 away with Vella now backing into the defence of Watmough and Kennedy. And again, they're 7 metres out from the line. Marsh, chance to go blindside if he wants to. Morris was there. His other playmaker is Tim Smith. He goes there and it goes to Ridders, and Ridders falls over. Really not tackled, but Ritt eventually claims the tackle. Riddell a dummy half. Off he goes to the right for Peake again, and Peake running towards the centre, gets the ball away to Tim Smith. Can he unload? No, Brent Kite has smothered him in the tackle. Played in front of the uprights. Marsh double pumps it before going to Widders. Widders goes back to McKinnon. McKinnon close to the line is flung down by Lulawai. Play back for PJ Marsh on the 5th tackle, the last tackle. Now it's with Tim Smith, the right foot kick. Up they go, the big men fly! And it's come down, and Tim Mander wants to have a look at this.
I think it'll be a knock-on first against Parramatta, then a double knock-on with Manly putting the ball off the hand.
What about the kick? It's a delightful kick, isn't it? Watch how he makes it spin back towards his own teammates. It's the banana kick, and the ball will actually end over end, spin back towards his own players. That's very clever. Magnifying glass. Your guess is as good as mine.
I think it's come off Luke Burt, and then Michael Monaghan has knocked on. I think a Manly possession.
We'd have to think Parramatta got a touch there.
Yeah, there's no doubt that Burt has got hands to it, and it's gone forward, then coming contact with Manly. So you'd be prepared to think it's a knock-on against Parramatta. But it was a nice examination for Tim Smith. Video referee decision pending. Coming down now. No try.
He's going to say he was offside.
He's ruled him offside, eh?
No, well, it didn't matter. But it was a delightful kick. A delightful kick. Pinpoint accuracy with that sort of kick. Go out in the park and try that this afternoon. Get a ball, and try and kick it about 30 metres across field and spin it back to your own teammates. See how hard it is.
40 metres away from their own line then, Manly. Play by Luluai, Williamson away, Monahan in. Kite comes up the middle, up to the halfway line, and Peake eventually runs him down. 9 changes Eels, 7 changes Eagles as Luluai runs strong. Widders and Vella. And play is now just inside the Parramatta 40-metre line. Here's Kennedy coming into the play again. He'll try to get a pass around the corner, but he can't. He's locked up with the ball. He plays it back for Williamson. Monahan puts in the right foot kick. The chase is on. Parramatta's going to let this ball go dead. Burke just casting a shadow across it, keeping a watchful eye on it. And now it's back for Riddell to take this optional restart. And Growth is able to pass and promote the ball to Ben Smith. The big fella goes outside the 30-metre line. He's looking back to the middle of the ground. He's tackled on the halfway line by the pursuer. Chris Hicks rounded him up. Parramatta then rolling on. Peake made a speed hump out of Luke Williamson.
That was a good run.
35 metres away from the line, played by Peake. It's gone from Marsh and gone on to Morris. Morris is on the 30-metre line. It's gone off the hand of Robinson, gone forward. Advantage Manly. It's been flung out to the left to Stevenson now. Stevenson will play it. 38 metres out from the Manly line.
He'll be very unhappy at the moment, Brian Smith, with what he's seeing in this second half from his side. They may have a final all wrapped up, but he's expecting more.
30 points to break. Parramatta went to Oranges at 28-0.
I don't mean more points necessarily. I just mean more execution, more control, more desire and commitment from his team.
Stevenson is held 7 or 8 metres on the Parramatta side of halfway. Kite, dummy half for Monahan. Williamson. But you can see the flatness that Phil Gould is talking about, the flatness in attack. As Hill puts a kick in, here's Stewart. He knocks on, which really is a perfect example of the way things have gone for Manly today.
Well, that ball was played on the far side of the field, and by the time it got to Terry Hill, it had gone through 3 or 4 sets of hands, and until it got to Terry Hill, no one ran onto the ball. Stand still, stand still, stand still. Now Terry, well, he's not even running when he gets the ball. Not one player was actually moving when he got the ball. You can't play attacking football like that. I don't want to be too harsh on them. I mean, it's demoralising when you're down this far on the scoreboard. Looks like being your last game of the season, but it's been their Achilles heel in the back half of the year. They have won 2 of their last 10, and it's off the back of offence like that.
Good news for them, of course, is that they have made those 2 giant purchases. And we saw them in action last night. You talk about the kicking game of Tim Smith. Well, the kicking game of Walford last night was awesome. And of course, Stephen Bell is a wonderful player. They're going to be very strong next year. The Eagles. Vella played it. It's gone across to Tim Smith, then to Widders. Widders comes to Williamson. Williamson makes the tackle one-on-one, head-on the halfway line. Played by Widders. Off goes Marsh. Marsh goes out to the left. Tim Smith puts a kick in. It's gone down over the head of Chris Hicks. Hicks goes back quickly. Coming down on him is Growth, and also going down there is Ben Smith. Smith's got him, and so is Robinson.
That's better. That's better from Parramatta. Nice control, good early kick, good chase, bit of defence.
Terry Hill met head-on by Riddell. Hill struggling to get up and play the ball. Back to Williamson. Now Menzies in front of his uprights. Comes out to the 10-metre line. Peake in 19. Vella in 16. Widders first man there in 15. Now for Kennedy. Kennedy comes out towards the 20-metre line. Gets around the ball. A corner around the pass around the corner, I should say. Watmo goes running on down the halfway line. McKinnon makes the tackle with Tahu. Played back to Michael Witt. Witt goes himself. He goes inside the 30. Up to the 20-metre line. Brushes away a would-be tackle from McKinnon. Then he throws to dummy. He'll score, Michael Witt. He's mesmerised them. Puts it over the line. 34-8 now. Back live. Parramatta Stadium. Manly has scored their second try. This time, Michael Witt converts his own try. 34-10. Matthew John sideline.
Yeah, well, Roberts, we've got 34 points to 10. There's 15 minutes to go. What you're going to understand with Parramatta, they got a week off before they play again. A lot of sides don't like the week off. What will Brian Smith be after from his team?
Does he want 2 or 3 flashy tries to make it a grandstand finish? No way. He wants to grind it out. He wants them to play tough. He wants them to finish the game, how they'll start the next game when they have to fight for their lives to make a grand final.
Riddell reminding his team their half-time instructions. They just dropped off a couple of times in intensity. Michael Witt scored an embarrassing try against them, really. It was quite brilliant from Michael, but Parramatta stood back and basically watched him throw dummies, sidesteps, all the rest of it, and nobody wanted to attack the man with the football. So it seemed. This is Lulaway now, inside his own 30-metre line. Williamson to the 30-metre line, passing flat. It goes to Menzies. Menzies is put down by Ben Smith and by Tim, as it's played for Hill to pass, and Stewart at first receiver. A decoy from Lulaway given to Monaghan. It's gone back to Watmo. Watmo putting on the accelerator. He gets it to within 5 metres of halfway. And he's lost the ball, Watmo. So the comedy of errors continues.
He's been good, Anthony Watmo, today. Easily Manly's best in both attack and defence. These Parramatta players are always playing at the football. I know they're making their tackles, but they're making sure that hands on the ball force the attacking player to have ball security, and if they don't, it will come loose. I'd like to get a stat on how many turnovers they force in tackles compared to other teams, and I would say they and the Dragons would be best at it.
Parramatta then winning the scrum and using their back line immediately, and Tahu gives it on to Ben Smith, and the big fella is tackled just 30 metres away from the Manly line. His growth going towards the centre of the ground. It's a very, very strong line.
He's been good today, Eric Growth. Really good.
I think he's been their best.
Oh, here comes problems for Williamson, I fancy. Mandel comes across smiling.
Luke, you've done a great round there, mate.
10 away from the Manly line, and the penalty to the Eels. Being played by Riddell. Peak. Off it goes to Tim Smith, and then away for Villa. Villa running away wide, and Wagon has scored. Parramatta gets their 7th try of the day. 38-10. Finals football live on 9. And 38 points to 10 with Luke Burt hoping to raise the flags. Richie does. So Parramatta go out to that 30-point lead again. Andrew Voss sideline.
Yeah, Ray, nice reward for that man on screen. Daniel Wagon, one of Coach Brian Smith's favourite players, because he is such a professional footballer. He does everything the coach expects of him in training. He never calls any trouble. He trains with great intensity. He's thrown into the job, number 11 on his back, not a problem. Done his job today, and a reward with a 4-pointer.
As I said in the first half, I really like him when he runs hard and straight. We saw that a couple of times in the first half off Smith, and that time off Vella. He just came hard and straight. He's a big man, typical back rower build, a former back. They make your best back rowers eventually. And with Nathan Hindmarsh out and his return, it was very timely. Gives them plenty of depth.
Williamson restarting the game, and Villa sent forward by Widders. Tim Smith taking a break.
Good move by the coach. Very, very smart.
Yes. Ben Smith with the ball now.
Yeah, Brian Smith taking the opportunity to run some other players in positions just in case. Maybe down the track Tim Smith might get hurt, be unavailable to play his normal role. He'll change his troops around, give PJ Marsh a run. Johnny Morris, move him also. Ben Smith now backing over the halfway line. So it's not a training run, but it's a great opportunity to just experiment with his team as growth. Bit of space inside the 30. Play on.
Played by Morrison now. Riddell puts a kick in, going down after it is Luke Burt. Oh, gee, I don't know that Stewart realised how close Burt was getting. He's batted it across the touch in goal. Line drop out.
It's one thing when any Parramatta player kicks the ball, you can bet your life someone will chase it, and it doesn't matter where they kick it. That time Riddell obviously got a call from Luke Burt and hooked it back towards the corner. just look at this. Cooks it back, and Luke Burt's obviously called for that. Stewart's hoping it goes dead, but you just know there'll be a Parramatta jersey there looking to compete. They're one of the best kick chase teams. In fact, they score more tries from kicks than any team in this premiership.
Line drop out taken by Monahan. Hasn't got a lot of depth about it. Marked by McKinnon. He almost waited half an hour for Peake to get there. Now McKinnon supports Peake and has the ball knocked down. That's the third time in the second half it's happened to Parramatta.
It's come off Steve Menzies, so it will be a Parramatta scrum feed. Seen a couple of those ruled that way by Tim Mander this afternoon. Here's another man, Adam Peake, jersey 19. Hasn't been part of the top 17 each weekend for a while, but he's come in, done the kind of job that is expected of him, taking the ball forward. Chad Robinson, same mould, just does what he does. Might be no Nathan Hindmarsh for them for a while, but they've got a lot of players who know their role.
Peake. Knock on by Robinson. Watmo for Manly. Monahan. Ball goes to ground backwards. Watmo again. Riddell and Robinson making the tackle.
7 minutes left on the clock. We've talked about Brian Smith will want this. Brian Smith will want discipline. He'll want him to play well, and that would have all been correct. Last 7 minutes, he just wants no injuries. He'd love to be able to call this off and get them off right now. Take them through to that preliminary final.
There's Heckenberg. Beyond the 40-metre line. Own end of the park. Stevenson, Monahan. The chase is on from Stewart. He's going very fast. He marked the ball on the ball. It's like Brindle and Gearan. Now Kennedy. Kennedy sprints away. Manly score their third try. Parramatta Stadium. And the fans witnessing another try for Manly. What was it, 28-0 at half-time? It's 40 points to 14 with the kick to come. So Manly can go home thinking that they've won the second half if nothing else changes.
And that's just about the best try we've seen in this contest. Reminiscent of last night, Matt Orford kicking through for Billy Slater deliberately. Well, this time it was Michael Monahan for Brett Stewart. Luke Williamson won't have any trouble with the conversion to what was a great try. The starting halves sitting out the last 5 or 6 minutes of this game, John Morris and Tim Smith. And Ben Kennedy did well to support his speed man Brett Stewart to be there to take the pass once he was covered.
Look, they've had a good year, Manly. I know I've been critical of them today, but it's not their fault 8th place has to come and play number 1. But I thought they'd run last this season. They've done a lot better than that. They've made the finals where others have failed. And as you say, with new purchases next year, there's a lot of hope. This is a springboard year for them. 2006 will be a lot better. And it's a great effort to make the finals this year.
Stevenson. Just beyond the 20-metre line. Manly's end, Heckenberg running for a gap, but Williamson got in his road. That actually assisted the Parramatta defence. Monahan passing on the 30-metre line back to Menzies. Now from Dunley to Monahan, and Monahan goes away to Anthony Watmo, and he's met in a solid tackle out there by Tahu. Here's Dunley with a little chip over the top, turning Parramatta around. Matai got a lovely bounce. They might score again. Oh, BJ is going to put 2 on the board. 2 tries on the board for Ben Kennedy in as many minutes. 40-20.
He's a marble, Ben Kennedy. You'd think a fella at his age and at this end of the season with nothing left in the game, he could just sit back and play out time. But for the second time, he will chase through in support play. That's the first one for Stewart, and Kennedy was backing up just in case he was needed, and he runs it in. And the second one is just pretty much an action replay. Nice little kick from Dunley over the top. Matai races through, and Ben Kennedy's there again. The evergreen, the enthusiasm. Races around to score 2. He'll remember that. Nice finish to the game for BK. Nice end to his season. I'm hoping he changes his mind and goes on the Tri-Nations tour. We'll probably only take a phone call from the coach to make it happen.
Try converted. 40 plays 22. With 3 minutes to go, they put the try together. On camera there for a moment. And again, Dunley and Kennedy.
He's tried his heart out again, Ben Kennedy, but that's what we expect every time he goes around. He's been an inspiration for the Manly club this season. A great buy. Still playing with the zest that he's shown in all the years, whether it was with Canberra or Newcastle. And Daniel Heckenberg, another former Eel, takes the restart out just short of the 20.
Manly then, coming away from their 20-metre line. Let's go sideline. Matthew Johns.
I'm down here with young Tim Smith. Tim, your thoughts on your first semi-final?
Yeah, it was good to see the boys winning out there, and yeah, it was pretty quick out there, but yeah, it's good, just good that we're winning at the moment.
And you got a week off. Now, what do you think Brian will have in mind? I mean, they can be tricky the weeks off.
Yeah, that's right. I probably wouldn't know at the moment. It's my first year in finals, so mate, I don't know what he's going to say, but the second half hasn't been too good.
What was the focus coming into that first half? And the first half was exceptional.
Yeah, that's right. We just wanted to start real well, and that's what we did. And we haven't started well those last 2 games against Brisbane and Canberra, so we just really wanted to start well.
Thanks for your time, Timmy. Another great game.
No worries. Thanks, matey. Cheers.
Scrum packing right on halfway. A knock on coming off Watmo. Here's Widders. And he will play it a couple of metres on the Manly side of halfway. 2 minutes to go in the game. 2 minutes of football for Manly's season to end. Play by Robinson for Riddell. Then to Peake, and they go back for Morris, who's back in the action. Now Tahu, looking to score his 3rd try of the day. Wagon sending Peake ahead to the 20-metre line and then staying with him, and Peake eventually is tackled.
He's been very good. He's been very good, Adam Peake, hasn't he?
He has. Morris giving it away to Widders. They go back and they go to Robinson, and Robinson is held by Kennedy and Hill. 5 gone. McKinnon for Morris, and he puts a kick over towards the try line. A beautiful back down by Wagon, and Adam Peake scores a try. Peake scoring off a fabulous back down by Wagon. Morris with a delicate kick. Well, he's had a superb game. Adam Peake, the son of a former very good Bulldog, John. He's been a bit of a journeyman. He went to Souths. He's come to Parramatta. And he's filled the role of Moi Moi today. It was a great piece of ruck rover work, if I can use an Australian rules ism. Paul Roos would love to see his ruckman getting it down to his rover like that every time. As Burt converts, the game is over. It is a 46-22 victory for the minor premiers. Parramatta, they get a week off. A week for Hindmarsh, or a fortnight now for Hindmarsh to get better and come back.